Welcome back, I'm Gareth Edwards. Britain has decided to slash funding to South Africa. The UK government says it's going to cut, believe it or not, 264 million rand in direct aid by 2015. So what are the implications of this decision? Joining me now on the show, as we have in the past, huge welcome to a financial sustainability advisor, Anne Bowen. Try and say that fast 3 times. Anne, morning to you again.
Good morning, Gareth.
Some are suggesting the fact that the UK are saying that South Africa has done so well over the past 20 years that is why they're withdrawing the aid. It's two sides of a coin here, isn't it? Where's the first big problem for you?
Well, you know, it's where do you draw the line with aid? And aid does make you very dependent. There are some NGOs in this country that 90% of their funding is from foreign donors, and that's not healthy. That's not sustainable. So, you know, we knew this was happening. We knew this was going to happen 20 years ago. I mean, the Dutch have already withdrawn, the Swedes have withdrawn, the Canadians are withdrawing. Everybody's been pulling back. So for DFID to do this was not unexpected. We were expecting it. They've had a 5-year strategy in place, 2011 to 2015, to see to the end of the Millennium Development Goals. And they've been sticking to that plan. This is now the next level of where they want to go to. Will it be aid or will it be trade? So we need to capitalize on that, both as NGOs and as the government. But back to the 19 million that's in jeopardy, about 1 to 2% goes to NGOs directly. Most of it goes to government. So for us in the NGO sector, yes, there'll be a bit of a wobble, and we'll have to find it elsewhere, but we don't get the full amount.
A bit of a wobble in 2 years' time, is that going to result in someone and an organisation falling over?
There will be some organisations, sadly, that will close. Like we've seen IDASA, but again, IDASA became too dependent on foreign funding.
In the end, though, and the problem is it's going to come down to those who need the NGOs
for sure.
On a daily basis.
Yeah.
We're talking, of course, about the HIV NGOs that do a lot of work. How many of those, obviously I know that the figures are large, but how many of those are in jeopardy of completely closing down and no longer being able to provide support?
Yeah, that is so sad, particularly those that are working in the communities, the foot soldiers that are looking at it on a daily basis. They actually get minimum funding already. You know, they don't get this big international funding, they get the dribs and drabs of it, and yet they still manage to do the work. But we do need government to wake up and realise they've got to plough more money into non-profits.
And is 2 years warning? I know you said there was a 5-year plan, it's now 2 years away from the end of that. Is 2 years enough for government to pick up the bat and run with it, and NGOs to make other plans?
Well, I've heard stories. I heard a story about 700 million rand in the Department of Social Development that was earmarked for non-profits. I don't think it was ever used. Now, if that story's correct, then we need to find out what are they doing with these allocations. They're numbers on paper, but they're not dribbling into bank accounts of the non-profit sector.
Apart from the UK, is there a risk, and you mentioned Sweden, Canada, I forget the others, my apologies. Apart from the UK, which said it is now pulling out, are there other countries that are providing aid that are also going to be pulling out in the near future?
I would say all of them actually, you know, have an exit strategy. They're not going to be funding us forever. And some of them will probably continue funding NGOs directly, those that have really good relationships, and will skirt around government.
So trade versus aid, I like that. Thank you very much indeed. Financial sustainability advisor, there we go, finally got the title right. Anne Bowen joining me on Morning News today.
News that moves. ENCA.com.